guys, it's me, Kaylee from Yoga Has My Back. Today I did a 30-minute heart opening practice as part of the Karma Yoga series, and I just want to say thank you so much for clicking on this video, because really there's a lot of heart opening that I've been doing today, so this practice really means a lot to me, and I hope that you can share. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Coming to the yoga mat today, I would like to acknowledge the mat as a sacred space where one can come to practice and escape from the unpredictable and chaotic nature of our daily life. I'd like to also start a little bit different by sitting up on the knees with the toes tucked under and the hips sitting back on the heels. You can place a pillow or a block in between your feet so that you have a little bit of a support, which could take some pressure off of your knees as well. Begin to draw your awareness to the breath. As we settle into a comfortable seat, feel the belly rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. Know that this is your practice, so if at any time while we're moving you need to come into a restorative or resting pose, please listen to your body. Continue mindful breathing as we link our movements with our breath. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, connecting the palms together if you can. Gaze up towards the sky, opening the chest. With the intention of opening our hearts, exhale and lower the arms, bend at the elbows for goddess arms or cactus arms. Exhaling, continue to lower the arms down towards the mat. As we focus our intention on opening our hearts, practicing compassion and love for ourselves or someone else in our life who might need it today. Carrying our chest forward, come into our tabletop up on the hands and knees, stacking the shoulders over wrists and knees under the hips. Come into our cat and cow flow. On your next inhale, we'll find cow pose. Shining the heart and gaze up, tilt the tailbone towards the sky. Exhale for cat, round the shoulders, chin tucks to chest and tailbone under. Inhaling for cow, look up. Exhaling and round the spine for cat, looking down, letting the head hang heavy. Continue flowing through cat and cow at your own pace, coming into a connection with your mind and body, noticing any areas that feel tension or tightness, and hang there for a moment or two as you send breath into those areas. Pausing in your tabletop for a moment, turn the fingertips off to the sides of the mat. Come into cow, feel a different sensation in the arms. Flow, exhale to cat. Continue turning your fingertips towards yourself now, and then shift the hips back towards the feet, exhaling and feeling that opening through the forearms. Inhale, come back to our center neutral table, and exhale, playing around, shift the hips back towards the heels. Taking any final movements in your cat-cow here before we move on. Turn the hands forward. Inhale, sit back into our kneeling pose and begin to roll out the wrists. Changing directions left and right. As we connect back with our intention, sitting up tall, open the heart, and sweep the arms overhead. Let's come into our camel pose. Take the hands to the low back and lift up through the hips. Press the glutes forward, back bend, and gaze up, opening the heart and the chest. Breathe here and hold. Exhale, release the hands back down to the mat, finding our neutral tabletop spine, and flow through our cat and cow. Inhaling for cow, exhaling for cat as you round the spine. Inhaling, heart and chest lifts up, tailbone lifts. Exhale, round, doming through the shoulders. Exhale, cat. Find stillness and walk the hands back towards the thighs. As you sit in a tall, kneeling pose, spine is straight. Inhale the arms up in line with the shoulders. Twist right, bend and pull the right elbow back. Left arm extends forward. Reach your left hand down, connect it to the mat, and set up for side plank. Top right leg extends back. Right arm opens the heart and chest, reaching towards the sky. Keep your left knee connected to the mat for a modification. Find a place that feels good in your body, moving the arm overhead, bicep to ear, looking up, looking down, moving and flowing in this pose. Now taking the right arm down to meet the left and slide your hips back into child's pose. Connect the head to the mat to relax. Notice how you are feeling in this moment and maybe reconnect back to the intention you set at the beginning of practice. Taking another big inhale, expanding through the back of the rib cage as we now slide our hands back and press into our tabletop. Adjusting your alignment in tabletop before you walk the hands back to the thighs and press the hips forward for kneeling pose. Inhale, sweep the arms to shoulder height and then twist the left elbow back this time. Right arm extends forward in our tall bow and arrow pose. Engage the core and gaze forward, visualizing your intention in front of you. Before letting it all go and taking our right arm down to the mat once again, setting up for modified side plank. The left leg extends out long and allow your left arm to come up overhead, engaging through the core. Moving freely in this pose, maybe taking your arm up in alignment, shoulders over wrists in a nice stack. Or gaze out under the armpit towards the sky with your bicep reaching overhead. Take note of what feels good in your body. And then windmill your top arm back down to the mat, sliding the hips back and down to child's pose. Connect to your breath as we pause and reset. Take one more deep breath here and we'll set up for our puppy pose, inhaling as we lift back to table, keeping the hips over the knees and then reach the chest towards the mat, walking the hands out, connect the chin to the floor. You can hold here, but if you're coming with me, start to make our prayer hands, taking a slight bend in the elbows, connect the palms, and then bring the forearms up towards the forehead. Inhale and breathe. Notice any different or intense sensations here in this pose and send breath to those areas within the body. Begin to lower your hands back down to the mat and then inhale, press up back into your tabletop and all the way through cat, rounding through the spine. Let the chin tuck into your chest. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling, flow through cat. Warming up the spine, giving yourself a gentle massage. Inhaling for cow, tailbone tilts up, heart opens, and rounding for cat. Come back through neutral, walk the hands forward, modified plank, shift the hips forward, bend the elbows and lower, slow and controlled, all the way down to the mat. Turn the tops of your feet and extend through the crown of the head forward. Slide your hands back under the shoulders and inhale up for baby cobra. Open the heart. Good. Exhale, release it back down, a nice back extension. On your next inhale, we'll come into our Sphinx pose. Slide the hands forward so that the elbows are under the shoulders. Again, open the heart, look up, engaging the muscles along the back of the spine. Exhale, release it down. Hands slide back under shoulders. This time, inhale, lift, baby cobra, engaging through the knees so that your feet come off of the mat. And then see if you can lift your palms up as well. Strong core here, strengthening all of the muscles along the spine. Good, and exhale, release it down. Now pop up onto the fingertips, extend through the arms, and lift the chest for seal pose. Look up, open the heart, breathe. Long arms. Good. Exhale, release, bending through the elbows, and turn the right cheek down to connect to the mat. Breathing here, opening up through the front of the chest, a great shoulder opener as well. Holding in our funky cobra variation. Inhaling, come back through center, and then take the same thing on the other side. Left cheek down to the floor. Watch that you don't get any sand in your ear if you're practicing on the beach like me. And then relax into the pose here, opening, feel maybe in through the front of the chest, the shoulder. Drawing your attention back towards opening the heart. Sending love to yourself for experiencing this practice today as you inhale. And then slide the hands back under the shoulders. As you exhale, let everything go. One last baby cobra, inhaling, lift. Straightening the arms if you are coming with me into our full cobra. Extend and lengthen through the crown of the head. Open the chest. And then releasing it back down. Come all the way onto the belly, and then open your arms up to a T shape in line with the shoulders. Let's take scorpion twist, bending through the left leg so the heel reaches towards the glutes. Press the sole of the foot up towards the sky, and then twist through the spine so that the left foot is now crossing over to the outer edge of the extended right leg. Twist and breathe here. Make sure to allow yourself to be fluid in this pose. Striving to reach the foot down to the floor, but if you can't, just going to where it's comfortable for you. And breathe. With the core engaged, begin to twist back through center and release the leg all the way back down to the mat. Recentering yourself, resting the belly, and then begin the same thing on the opposite side. Lift the left leg, bending through the knee, and then twist over so that the leg crosses behind the extended right leg. Maybe your toe touches down to the ground, or maybe you're hovering, finding what works for you. Feeling an opening across the chest and in the low back as we twist. This pose also opens our solar plexus chakra, which can help boost our confidence and our mood. Taking another round of breath here in this pose. And slowly start to engage through the core as we bring our leg back through center. Make our way down to the belly and center ourselves on the mat. Hands under shoulders, press up into our baby cobra once again. Pressing yourself back up into our neutral tabletop position, and then lift the hips, shift back to our downward dog, pedaling out the feet. Separate the fingers nice and wide, bending through the knees as much as you need to. Feeling it wherever it happens in your downward dog. Noticing the areas that feel tight. Sending breath into those spaces within the body. On your next inhale, look forward and start to shift the hips through plank, either lowering the knees or come to chaturanga. Inhale, pressing into up dog or cobra, gazing heart open. Exhale and press back, downward facing dog. pedal out your feet, bending the knees. Inhale and sweep the right leg back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee comes through the arms and step it into our runner's lunge. With a strong core, inhale and sweep it up overhead, standing tall, arms up. Good, leaning into that front leg, subtle back bend, strong core. Breathe. And then exhaling, our arms down, bend at the elbows, goddess arms or cactus arms. Release and windmill your hands up in line with our shoulders. Bend through the right elbow and draw it back for a twist. Left arm stays long, extended in front of the body. Holding steady here. And exhaling, let the left hand connect to the mat, followed by the right. Step it back and set up for our side plank. Opening through our right hand and reaching the right hand towards the sky. Hips lift. You can have your feet stacked or top leg staggered in the front. Beautiful engaged core. Breathing and exhale, lowering everything back down. Chaturanga or knees to the ground. Flow through our cobra or upward facing dog. Press back to down dog, pedaling out the feet. Once again, lengthening the spine, feeling if the hamstrings are any more open at this point in our practice. Inhale, find a stillness, and then we'll sweep the left leg up to three-legged dog. Bend the knee and lower it under the chest. Plant your foot in between the hands, engaging through your core, and stand up to find our lunge. Inhaling, sweep the arms up over your head, engaging through the core, shoulders down, ribs tuck in. Bending at the elbows, creating our goddess or cactus pose, holding steady and strong, and then exhaling, lowering the hands. Find your bow and arrow pose with the right arm extending forward this time. The left hand will grab onto that bowstring, twist and pull back, opening up through the front of the chest. A slight twist of our spine here. Hold steady and visualize your intention ahead of you as you shift forward and plant your hands down onto the mat. Step it back and open up to our side plank. Right hand plants into the mat. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Your feet can be staggered with the bottom leg slightly in front of the other. Finding a pose that works for your body as you press the hips up and away from the ground, turning your gaze either down towards the planted hand or up towards the sun, opening your fingertips nice and wide as we windmill the hand over the head and back down to the mat, shifting our hips back to find our downward facing dog, and then lowering down, knees and elbows bend, pressing ourselves up into our baby cobra, and then exhaling all the way back into our wide-legged child's pose, resting here for a moment. Take a deep inhale and let all that go. Inhale and fill the back body up with your breath, creating space in the spine. Inhale now, pressing through the feet, lift your hips and meet in downward facing dog. Exhale, let it go. Next inhale, sweeps our right leg high. Bring the knee under the body and step to the top of the mat. Engage the core and lift your arms up overhead. Heart opener shining our heart and chest forward from warrior one. Interlace the fingers behind the back and find our humble warrior, bowing the body forward so that the side of your shoulder comes down close to the inside of the right knee. Hold and breathe. Strong through the quads, strong through the back leg. Inhale, lift back to standing, raise the arms up overhead and pivot into our warrior two. Holding in our strong warrior, inhale, exalted, right arm up, left arm strives down the body, side bend, exhaling, back through center and find triangle pose. Shift the hips back slightly and straighten out through the top leg. Wrist over shoulder alignment, rib cage tucks down. Holding your triangle, pivot the top arm down and turn your feet to face the top of the mat or the long edge of the mat as we come into our forward fold, wide-legged forward fold. Allowing the weight of your head to open up through the back, maybe here interlacing your fingers or drawing your arms behind the back, letting gravity create space in the shoulders and throughout the front body and the chest. Breathe and hold, engage through the core, and slowly start to lift yourself back up. And finding our side lunge with our right leg bending and keeping our left leg straight, nice and long. See if you can sink the hips down and turn the toes to face up. A great balancing pose here. Maybe one hand comes off the mat at a time, finding prayer pose with our hands connected at the sternum. Opening the hips and the groin. Exhale, pivot and release, finding our low lunge. Inhale, find balance and sweep your arms up overhead, heart opening. Exhale, releasing your hands back down. Plant the hands as you lift and straighten through your back knee and step towards the top of the mat. Exhale, feet together, forward fold. Feeling a nice stretch, letting go the back of the head. Inhaling, flat back tabletop, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, standing tall, sweep the arms up overhead, look up, chin towards the sun, slight back bend. Good. Exhale, releasing the palms of the hands to the side body. Finding a tall mountain pose. Tuck the tailbone underneath. Taking a moment to feel strong. Inhaling, rise up, hands overhead. Exhale, and forward fold. Releasing through the neck. Inhale, halfway up, hands to shins. Exhale, release it back down. Stepping back into our plank and lowering down chaturanga into our upward facing dog. Inhaling as the heart lifts. Exhale, press back into our downward dog. Pedal out the feet, feeling it through the shoulder blades as you turn your elbows to face forward. Repeating the sequence on the opposite side. So inhaling, left leg up, three-legged dog. And then exhale as you bring the knee underneath the body and step to the top of the mat. Beautiful. Finding balance. Start to lift up. Tall, engage through the core as we sweep our arms up overhead. Good. And exhale. Lowering the front body, humble warrior pose. The arms can connect, or the palms connect back behind you. If it's too much, you can just keep the elbows bent, coming into a reverse prayer pose, or reaching the hands toward the mat. Our shoulder connecting to the thigh. Finding comfort in this pose, whichever variation works for you. Staying connected to your breath as you inhale, lift back up to standing, windmill the arms around, overhead. Good, and then pivot to the side. Your front knee bends, back leg extends nice and straight. Arms come down into a T. Settling into Warrior 2, energy drawing the thighs together, shoulders over the hips. Strong here. And then transition into Exalted Warrior. Back arm comes down the leg, front arm rises up overhead, side body bend, feeling a nice stretch in your rib cage. Inhale, take it back up, and then tilt forward this time, finding our triangle pose. So make sure that we're twisting our hips, rib cage turns upwards, stacking wrists over shoulders, reaching towards the sky. The triangle is the shape created with our back and front leg, the base being the ground. From here, both hands draw towards the floor, slowly taking it down into our wide-legged forward fold, pivoting all the toes to face the front side or the long side of the mat. Now, you might just have your hands on the ground in front of you. See if you can slowly start to inch your hands back behind the body, creating an opening through the backs of the legs. Breathing, sinking the head down. And then slowly walking the hands forward. Slowly begin to lower the hips and shift your weight. Left knee bends deep. Right leg extends long, balancing pose. If you can, on the ball of your left foot. Engaging through the core. And trying to lift your hands one at a time up off of the mat to meet your palms at heart center, if only for a moment. If you are here, then you could start to turn the toes up on the left leg, flexing through the foot. Coming out of this pose, turn all of your toes to face the top of the mat, lowering the back left knee and into our lunge. Inhale the arms up, overhead, heart opener, making sure that the knee does not go over the toe of your front bended leg. And maybe finding Kali Mudra for strength and power. All fingers interlaced and index finger pointed forward. Meet in forward fold by lifting the back leg and stepping up in between the hands at the top of the mat. Exhaling headlong. Inhale as you lift and arms come up overhead. Exhaling the hands down to our prayer pose, our heart center. Widening the feet out to either side, preparing for our yogi squat, so turning each foot out slightly on an angle to make room for your hips as you exhale and sink the body down in between the thighs. Slowly again and mindfully reaching behind you one hand at a time, to allow yourself the space to take your seat to the ground. One vertebra at a time, begin to lower yourself down onto the mat, finding our Shavasana, or resting pose, as we release and relax from this practice. Taking a body scan to see how we're feeling now. Feeling the shoulders sinking into our mat. The forearms and the backs of the hands resting on the mat. Our hips and our thighs resting on the mat. Relaxing through the glutes. the knees, and the shins. Relax, allowing your ankles and feet to roll off to either side, and feeling the full weight of your head being supported by the ground beneath you. Relaxing through the cheekbones and the jaw, the eyebrows, your forehead, and your ears. Relax. Maybe closing down the eyes completely or softening your gaze. As we remain here for the next few minutes, my voice will guide us back to the present moment when we're ready. Slowly begin to draw your awareness back to this time and space. Wiggling out your fingertips and the toes. Engaging through the core, and at your own pace start to lift one knee at a time up towards the chest, crossing at the ankles, taking some subtle rocks from side to side, massaging the hips on the mat. Good. Release and lower the soles of the feet back down to the mat. Taking a full body stretch, feet nice and long, arms up overhead. One big inhale, feel the belly rise. Exhale, let it go. And to come back into seated, roll over onto one side of the body, press your palm into the mat, and start to lift yourself back up in a gentle cross-legged pose. To close this practice, we'll take our hands to our heart center, bowing our head as I thank you for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. The light from within me bows to the light within each of you. Namaste.